Hi again, it's Lorraine. So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about law of attraction. You may already be familiar with it if you've ever seen the movie The Secret. You're probably familiar with it. I actually was introduced to the law of attraction through the teachings of Abraham in the late 80s. And I really didn't get it. I didn't internalize it, meaning I didn't use it in my life. But many people were circulating the message at that time. They were being circulated they were recorded on cassette tapes, and they were being circulated in that way. So I became aware of it. And then years later, probably 10, 12 years later, I came across the teachings again. At that time, I was about 38 years old and going through a separation, found myself a single parent with 2 kids and one in college. And here I was starting on my own all over again. And it was really the first time I kind of adulted as a single parent. I had to, I wasn't used to paying my own bills, and I wasn't used to making sure that the registrations on the cars were done, and I was a mess. I was a mess. So at that time, synchronistically, the teachings of Abraham showed up in my life again, and I don't even remember how it happened at that time. But the computers were being used a lot at that time, so it was easier to get the information. And I started listening to Esther Hicks channeling the messages from Abraham. And at that time, again, synchronistically, I came across a group that met. It was a telephonic group. I could call in, and the leader, who I refer to as my spiritual coach, gave information on the teachings of Abraham. She didn't channel it, she just kind of put it into regular words. And we went through exercises regularly, and through that, I really transformed my life. I really credit Elise for holding that group and really taking my hand, and I don't even think she realizes she did this, but taking my hand and walking me through those teachings so that I could apply them into my life. And it really did change my life immensely. So as I said, here I was, this single mom raising 2 kids with everything that teenage years bring, and one child in college. And coincidentally, during that time, I also contracted Lyme disease and had to go through figuring out what that was and getting over that. And at each step, I applied law of attraction. And I applied some of the principles. I understood what it meant, and I applied some of the techniques that Esther Hicks has channeled for us to use, and that I learned from Elisa's group, and I was able to transform my life. So instead of getting into the fear of being ill and people not knowing, doctors not being able to diagnose what it was, I channeled my energy into every day I would meditate on being well. And I asked for the right physicians, the right people to help me get over it. And I was able to attract into my life 2 alternative health practitioners who really helped me through all of that. It was a time, as I look back on it now, a time of blessings. I started a coaching business at that time. My very first paid customer was the Department of the Interior. I mean, it was like all these blessings happened in my life, and I credit it all to applying the principles of the law of attraction. And really what it came down to was manifesting. And I'm going to do a different video on manifesting, but I really want to stick to the law of attraction right now. So coincidentally, I have a class. It's a 10 course, 10 module class on manifesting, and I'll put the information down in here so that you can take a look at it if you'd like. And in it, I've got some things from the Law of Attraction and Abraham, and just some principles of manifesting themselves. And coincidentally, if you like the videos, if you like the information you're getting here, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate that so much, and that way you don't miss any of the information that I'm going to be putting together here. But back to the Law of Attraction. So the Law of Attraction says that like attracts like. So if we're in a place where we are sad and scared, unhappy, then we are likely to attract more things that make us sad and scared and unhappy. Conversely, if we're in a place where we're just loving life, or we're thriving, where we are happy, we are going to attract things to us that make us happier, that make us thrive. We are going to attract to us whatever it is that aligns with, resonates with the situation, the conditions that we are in at this time and space. Now, that doesn't mean that if we have a bad day, it throws everything out the window and we're going to attract negativity. Not at all. It's the dominant vibration that pulls things toward us. So I launched this class on Manifestation Mastery last year. And the people that went through it, the feedback that I got from them was that it really changed their mindset. It's all about how we think about things and how we feel about things. I'm also a hypnotist, and I usually tell people, change your perception and you change your reality. Change your perception and you change your life. Change your feeling state and you change the outcomes. So the idea is that you want to be in a really good place. And when Esther Hicks, channeling Abraham, talks about your vortex, that's really what it is. It's the vortex, the feeling state that you're in. It's the energy swirling around in the feeling state that you're in that determines what you're going to draw to you. So if you're mostly in a good space, you're going to draw mostly good things to you. I've worked with people who say, you know, my friends betray me. My friends aren't there for me when I need them. Well, take a look at where you're at. This is what I say to people. Take a look at where you're at. What are you putting out there? And what needs to change around that so that you begin to draw people to you who are loyal, who are dependable, who will give you the shirts off their back, who just stand in your corner and champion anything that you want to do and want better for you and celebrate when things are going well for you. You know, I have people sometimes say, yeah, but I'm never going to pull that into my life. Yes, you will. And they have. It's about changing your outcomes. You know, we set the standard for how people treat us. So once we change that, it's a game changer on every level. So how do we do this? How do we get into a good feeling state so that we bring good feeling things to us? Well, start looking at what you have to be grateful for. You know, even if you start with the smallest of things, sometimes it's being grateful for a beautiful day, being grateful for the flower that showed up in my flower pot. Sometimes I live in the desert, so we get a lot of sunshine and rarely get storms, but sometimes when we get storms, I am grateful for that because it's changed up the weather. We're expecting some snow either today or tomorrow, and I'm thrilled about that. It melts quickly, so it's easy to be really thankful for that, but I love it when the desert is blanketed with snow. I am grateful for my health. Sometimes I'm grateful that I had that piece of candy when I was craving it, you know? And it's about being grateful for anything that shows up in our life. I am always grateful for the health of my children, the health of my mother. I am grateful for you that you're watching this video right now, that I'm able to record it. There's so much to be grateful for. So, at the very least, to begin with that, you can do a gratitude journal every morning or every evening, or you could do it both. You know, there have been times when I do gratitude journals, and I like to do them at night. Usually it was when I was working. I'd get up working a 9 to 5, 8 to 5 job, really more like 7:30 to 6 o'clock, but I would get up, get ready for work, and then at the end of my day before I went to bed, I'd spend some time writing in my gratitude journal, and I would write everything I was grateful for that happened in that day. And it's a way of pivoting out of the negativity into the positivity. And I'm going to be doing many more videos on other techniques that we can do to put ourselves into a state of well-being and into a state of feeling good. Now, I'll tell you, there is a man by the name of David Hawkins. He's since passed away, but he lived in Sedona, Arizona, and was a psychiatrist. And what he did was he calibrated the vibration of words, because words carry a vibration. And it's the vibration that generates a resonance, and it's that resonance with which we attract things or people to us, opportunities, whatever it may be. So what he found were words like shame, guilt, frustration, even anger, are lower vibrational words. So if we're in states of shame, guilt, anger, we're in a lower vibrational state, and consequently we're going to attract to us situations, people, conditions, opportunities that are lower vibration. And what he also found were things like excitement, expectation, happiness, joy, love are all higher vibrational states. And subsequently, when we are in those higher vibrational states, we attract to us things that are higher vibration. So let me give you an example of that. At one time, I really just thought about, and really how we attract is we send out a signal. And it's kind of like a radio signal. We send out a signal that carries our vibration, and what it does is it broadcasts out there, and then these things are attracted to us. We bring these things into our physical reality. So at one point I was thinking about it and meditating on a job that I wanted to get, and not being specific to the job itself, but just the conditions that I wanted to have with the job. I wanted to work with people that I respected. I wanted to work in an area that I felt good about working in. I wanted to work with people that made me laugh, where I felt very comfortable. I wanted the job to be to use skills that I already had. I wanted the job to be challenging because I wanted to grow, and I used the word challenging. I wanted it to pay well. I wanted to have some stability with it, and I put all of these things into my thoughts. And I would sit and meditate on those specific things that I wanted to draw into my job. I had been laid off from one job, and I was putting these things out there. And so I would take time on a regular basis, maybe several times a day, and think about what I wanted to draw in. Sure enough, I got a call from somebody who wanted to hire me, and they told me about the job. I took the job, and sure enough, it was everything that I asked for. I was working with the Army. I was supporting soldiers. I was doing quality assurance on technical projects with regard to the Army Culture Center, and I really loved it. I worked with good people. It was a really interesting, but the job was challenging, and not only in the type of work it was super fast paced. Before I knew it, I was asked to lead the team. I led the team, and that brought with it some issues because, it kind of shook things up. And it was just, there were a lot of challenges, and it wasn't just the challenge in the work itself and growing, but there were challenges on every level. So be careful what we ask for, right? That's one of the lessons that I learned in that. But I've been manifesting and putting the law of attraction into place so often in my life that I'm getting better at doing this. There's so much to share with you on the law of attraction, and we'll take baby steps. I'll start doing more videos on the law of attraction and sharing with you some of the techniques that I put into play to keep myself centered. But before I go, I want to, as a consciousness coach and looking at the law of attraction, I want to give you a real world. I want to invite you to do this real world challenge. And what I'd like to invite you to do is to, the next time you go shopping, is to imagine before you go that you're going to get the perfect parking space, the perfect one for you. Maybe it's right in front of the store, to the entrance of the store. Maybe it's very close to that. Maybe it's one under shade. In the desert, shade is a premium. We look for those things. Maybe it's away from other vehicles so that you don't get dinged. Whatever it is for you, set the conditions that you're looking for, and maybe say it out loud. Hold it in your vision, and the next time you go to the store, look for that place. Remember, stay in a positive place while you're generating, while you're thinking about it and creating those conditions to show up in your physical reality. Get yourself in a really good place. Think about holding your child or your pet, or think about the love of your grandfather or your grandmother. Think about the embrace of your significant other, whatever it is that makes you feel soft inside, that makes you feel loved, that puts a smile on your face. Get your vortex, establish your vortex first, that feeling good state, and then think about that parking place. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions about it, please leave me questions on here. I'm happy to answer them for you. I will do my best to get to every one of them. One more, remember to like this video if it resonates with you, and subscribe to my channel so that you can get more. Until next time, keep spreading that light.